Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I have some exciting stuff to talk about because Electro, as you guys may know, has gotten a pretty significant glow up. If you want to go in more detail with that, please watch this video on screen before continuing watching this video, because I'm just gonna assume you guys know how busted of a situation we have going on right now. Now, it's not really a direct buff to Electro, right? It's a buff to the element through the addition of a new element system along with all its reactions, and with how much emphasis HoYoverse has put on the reaction between Electro and Dendro as opposed to having Electro be strong by itself, it's safe to assume that going forward, future Electro characters along with Dendro characters are both going to have to lean heavily into these crutches. I call them crutches because now it makes it much more difficult to have these characters be relevant by themselves. However, that doesn't mean there are no exceptions. The exception to this rule already exists in the game, and that is the Electro Shogun herself in her Raiden hypercarry team along with Kujo, Sara, Kazuha. So we're not going to really talk about that. We're talking about Cyno, the soon-to-be newest addition to the Electro roster. Come on, let's be honest here. Do you guys think Cyno's kit is going to be designed with a traditional mindset or with the mindset that he is going to be synergizing with Dendro? I'm not gonna 100% rule out the fact that while Cyno could be a Electro hyper carry that's designed in a similar fashion to characters like Zhao and Ito, but I truly believe it will be such a wasted opportunity to have this entire new reaction system that has made Electro characters feel so much more pleasant to play in the new meta for Cyno to not take advantage of this. Now, with Cyno being a spear user, I think we can all agree that we are anticipating for some quick and close combat playstyles. Kaching is here today as a demonstration to what Electro is capable of when given the right tools to succeed. Now, with this team on the side here, I don't want to box you guys in or anything. I understand it's an incredibly limited situation we have right now. There just isn't enough team slots to capture every single possible angle. If you want to bring Fischl, you get more damage, but you get no heals. If you want to bring heals, then you lack more in the damage department. However, with the new reaction system, damage isn't so much of an issue, along with if you have Kazuha on your team here or any other Anemo characters that could use the Viridescent set, you're not going to really struggle that much with damage. But really in this scenario, it's pick your poison, right? You want more damage, bring Fischl. You want survivability, then bring Kuki. Or you can maybe completely get rid of Kuki and double Electro here and just go with a dedicated healer like Kokomi, which is something that I would consider doing if you want to add a little bit of spice into your team comms. However, do understand if you bring Kokomi, then make sure that your Kazuha is swirling the right element. So maybe it won't be the best idea to lead with Kokomi, then it will be Kaching into Kazuha, then into Kokomi, or something of the sorts. But back to the discussion with Cyno. I do think Cyno has the potential to usher in a new way of playing Electro teams, mainly on-hit Electro teams. As it currently stands, I don't believe Cyno is going to fit very well into the game state if he were to be like an off-field Electro support character in the sense of Fischl, right? We already have Yamiko, we have Fischl. This avenue of the game is completely filled out. There's no more room in this space. Also, along with Kuki being the Electro healer, Cyno has to be an on-field Electro character that deals damage primarily being on-field, and also with his weapon and his general aesthetics, I don't think it's much of a stretch to say that he is going to be an on-field Electro carry. Now, if that is going to be true, then Quicken, Bloom, Aggravate, Hyper Bloom, these are all going to be important parts of his kit and how he's going to deal damage. Now, we have to talk about the Thundering Fury if we're going to talk about this new reaction system, because as you guys can see here, the 4-piece Thundering Fury set has always been seen as a relatively niche and difficult set to pair with the characters, as most of the time you're not going to be relying on its 4-piece effect. So old Electro characters used to run the 2-piece Thundering Fury and 2-piece Gladiators, but this changes now. If you guys are thinking about picking up Cyno, I suggest you guys start grinding for a decent Thundering Fury set. Now, this could take you, if you're lucky, a couple days, but if you're unlucky, a couple weeks. But start now. You have around a month left to get prepared for your favorite Electro Anubis. Looking at this, Hyper Bloom is going to be boosted by 40%, but Aggravate is also going to be boosted by 20%. And when Quicken or the aforementioned elemental reactions are triggered, elemental skill CD is decreased by 1 second, but this can only occur once every 0.8 seconds. You guys, just by looking at this artifact set, like we can kind of push the theory here, right? I assume that there's going to be a huge aspect of Cyno's kit that revolves around spamming that elemental skill. Now, I don't know what the burst skill is going to be, but the elemental skill ideally is going to be something that maybe initially seems like it has a pretty long cooldown, but if you take into account the Thundering Fury set and its 4 set effects, it's going to be easy to deduce that this is going to be what keeps Cyno's skill rotation going. Now, whenever you have things such as CD, this is going to be instrumental in the character's success. If you do not run this set, what ends up happening is you cannot rotate through his skills properly, which is going to be just a hard cap on your DPS. So at this point, let's just gather everything that we've already discussed, right? Cyno is going to be an on-field, on-hit Electro character because every other option has already been exhausted. Cyno is going to have an elemental skill that has a relatively long cooldown at face value. However, once you consider Thundering Fury and its applications, it should then fall into place with everything else. Great units to probably pair with Cyno is going to be other Electro characters to get him that Electro resonance. On top of that, a definite Dendro character should be thrown into the mix to heavily utilize the Thundering Fury 4 set effect. Now, the last piece of the puzzle should be whether or not we bring in a Nemo character into the mix here to get that Viridescence 4 set effect. Once again, we are faced with the scenario that we have to choose between a healer versus damage. If you choose survivability, then you will likely go with someone like Kokomi, but if you choose damage, you can't go with Kazuha. Now, there's also other scenarios where you don't run a double Electro. You instead just run Cyno by himself as the single Electro character in the team, and then you run Kazuha, and then you run a healer such as Kokomi, and then you end it off with a Dendro off-field character like the Dendro MC. Furthermore, yes, there's more. This could once again all change if Cyno scales off of a wacky stat. Let's say Cyno scales off of HP. Suddenly the double Hydro with Yelan as a support DPS and then Kokomi may seem enticing, and then you just bring Kazuha as the last piece of the puzzle. Then you have Cyno, Yelan, Kokomi, and Kazuha, right? Then you don't even need Dendro. You just go with Electro Charge. Electro Charge works as well with the Thundering 4-piece set effect. It's just, right now there's just so many possibilities. And to go one step further, if the Dendro Archon comes out and the Dendro Archon has any, and I mean any healing capabilities on top of being a great off-field Dendro applicator, that's going to solve so many problems in the current issue of roster pairing, where there's only 4 slots and it always feels like you're missing one role in your team. We just don't have enough characters that cover enough roles in the element of Dendro as of yet. So I hope you guys got more and more excited as this video started ramping up more, because I think Cyno can show us an entire new aspect of what Electro, Dendro, Hydro, all this stuff is capable. He could be a revolutionary taser team unit, or he could usher in a new Quicken, Aggravate, Hyperbloom meta. Right now, the issue is with slot options, because we don't have enough slots. I wish we had like 5 or maybe 6 slots in a team so we can truly utilize these Electro reactions better, but I think with more Dendro characters and maybe even Hytham, when Hytham comes out, we might get newer possibilities with team synergies where characters that can assume more than one role will be heavily preferred over ones that cannot. And this has been something I've said for almost a year now, that into the future of Genshin, the only issue would be a lack of slots and not damage options or utility options. Slots, slots, and slots. That's everything we need, and we need characters that are multi-purposeful if we want to keep this game fresh and entertaining for both veterans as well as newer players. Alright, that's everything I wanted to say. I hope this video has sparked something in you to start thinking about this stuff. I know a lot of you guys are looking at leaks as well. Tell me down below how close or how accurate this video has been to the leaks. I'm always interested to see you guys talking about this stuff, both if you're consuming leaks or not consuming leaks. Personally, I do not, just to keep things a little more fresh for myself. Okay, so until the next time I see you guys, I urge you all to stay safe. Peace, bye.